All right, everyone look alive. We should be hopefully broadcasting very shortly.
Look alive, you're dead on the inside.
Aren't we all? I'm waiting. I'm waiting for the stream to catch up on my phone so that I can get like an idea. Is it going?
Yeah, we're good.
All right, sweet. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Gun Gamers live podcast. It's been a little while since we've done one of these, huh? It's been too long, if you ask me.
It has been a while.
Yeah. So who all do we got? Let's just go and I don't want to totally chaos it. We've got Kyle. Say hi, Kyle.
Hey, guys.
We've got Garrett. Say hi, Garrett.
Sup?
We've got Joe. Of course, we all know and love Joe.
Hi.
Hello.
And then we have Ian. How's Ian doing tonight?
I'm doing good. My first podcast.
This is your first podcast. Wow. The Proby's first podcast. Are you still a Proby?
Dude, no, he is so past Proby. It's not even funny.
For reasons I'm not going to mention on stream, probably not.
No, he's halfway to veteran.
I've been broken in.
All right.
Corey when you need him.
Yeah, where is Corey when you need him? Fuck. Now Corey is unfortunately not able to join us tonight. Nor is Lutz. I think that baby is a little too much for him right now.
Yeah. I think he might be going a little wild out there.
I warned him.
You warned him. All right. Anyway,
so what do you want to say? We got a couple of things. What do we want to start with?
I mean, the title of the podcast, I think, gives it away pretty well. But first of all, I want to say hello to all of our viewers. Hi, all. It was 20 and now it's dropping. I think people are already.
They're like, no.
And
Eric's shirt's still on. I'm out.
Anyway, but no, what we've got today is a subject that we had a passionate discussion about in a couple of our chats. And this was why we have certain preferences that we have in Airsoft and, certain things that got us into the game, certain things we've noticed about the game, and all of them come back to one place. And that is the way that entertainment media affects the players, the industry, and the game of BB LARP. So does anyone here want to start with a rant about how they don't understand things, Kyle?
Yeah. No, I'm going to start off with a rant because in this particular group, we have extreme hard-ons for Black Hawk Down. I'm pretty sure it's playing on someone's house right now.
Probably
DVD.
Probably
where did the DVD go? I had it on my desk like 10 minutes ago.
See?
I can't be the only one that has the 3-disc deluxe edition sitting on their shelf.
Lutz is just sitting in his IBA, just getting really sweaty. watching him toss that flare onto the rooftop, and the little bird just start lighting up with fucking minigun.
Well, Kyle, my first real big game ever in Airsoft. I mean, big game was at the Black Hawk Down game in 2008. Literally themed an entire game around the events. I mean, you want to talk about movies influencing it? That's as high as it gets.
Last year, we did a Black Hawk game we were at GZA.
Yeah, well, Tom does. Yeah, no, that's right. GZA does a Black Hawk theme. Now, granted, it's Black Hawk themed, and it's evolved over time. We had miniguns on Humvees last year, so, we've wavered slightly. Great. Yeah, but no, absolutely. Black Hawk Down is like the quintessential, like, they got the gear perfectly. Well, we'll get into this a little bit about when movies nail it and people realize that and how that influences it. But like Black Hawk Down, everything was focused on them constantly. You saw their gear. They were all wearing the same stuff. So you can easily repetitively be like, oh, that vest has a little cut here. Why is there a little cut here? I had no idea when I was a kid. I'm like, why is there a thing here? And then the first time I put on one of those and realized, oh, the shoulder thing goes here. This is great. It influences a lot when you're buying stuff.
Yeah, well, and I feel like Black Hawk Down was kind of the first wave of like real militaristic media that could affect Airsoft at large, because Airsoft was not a thing in the United States that was significant until the late 90s, early 2000s.
Correct.
And when did Black Hawk Down come out? Was that
98?
Yeah.
So
that's the thing. Like that movie was like kind of the start, like the first thing that could affect Airsoft. And I think you saw that influence. I mean, one of the first major national milsim operations was Lion Claw's Op Irene.
Yep.
Absolutely.
FYI, Black Hawk Down the movie was 2001.
Okay, 2001.
Thanks, Jared. Thank you.
But yeah, so
Thanks,
that's the thing though. Like you have this crazy influence in 2001 of this is the start, and everyone was wearing tricolor and everyone was using M4s. Like from then on, if they were on the tan team, it was all tricolor.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
If you really also think about it, what was available easily available and obtainable in the civilian market?
Hold on, real quick. We have someone in the chat, Chris D. says, I joined the army because of Black Hawk Down, LOL.
Oh, I mean, that was the biggest. Oh, no, that was the biggest PR
absolutely.
Thing.
Like that is absolutely like the level of influence that movie had. Like, so it can influence to join the fucking army. Imagine what it could do to BB
commercial.
Warriors.
They got you that way, man.
You thought you'd be rolling in Humvees. Instead, you sat in a trench and sweated in your gear for 4 years. Everybody thought they'd be off doing cool high-speed shit like that, and then nope. Also, I don't know if you go back in and talk to any of those guys, but I don't think any of those guys, if you go up to them and be like, "Hey, so how was that little mission?" They'd be like, "Oh yeah, I'd do that again. Yeah, I know, totally. I know what to do now. It'd be fine." Yeah, so like it set a precedent. But you get all those commercials. We were just joking about that like 2-3 weeks ago. Those new army commercials they're rolling out, where they got all the Humvees and the fire miniguns and the guys shooting a suppressed Mark 16 out the side of a helicopter. There's like 4 guys that those are issued to right now in the entire army. You're not getting one of those when you sign up to
Hold on, Ron. So Black Hawk Down didn't start Airsoft in the U.S. That's not what we're saying.
No.
What we're talking about is the level of influence that it had.
Here, let me give kind of a timeline from my perspective, and I think you can all agree with this one. So I wasn't able to see Black Hawk Down when I was a kid. I think it was in 2001. Would have been middle school for me. My parents were like, "Yeah, no, you're not going to see that. That's fine." But you catch it on TV, the censored version. You start seeing things like that. I got into Airsoft, found out what it was in middle school. I was going online and looking on Red Wolf Airsoft and looking at all these really cool. I'm like, wait, these are really realistic looking guns. This is way cooler than paintball. And so I'm just finding out about Airsoft right about the time that movies like Black Hawk Down are becoming very prominent and easily available, and they're showing on TV and that kind of thing. So right as Airsoft started to show up in internet searches and become like a thing that people were talking about, is like it matched up perfectly with right around the time that Black Hawk Down was showing up on mainstream television. Every couple of months they'd be playing the censored version of it. So you catch it on TV and you're like, oh, that's cool. Then you go on, hey, what's this Airsoft thing? Wait, all the stuff they use in the movie I can get and shoot a BB out of? That's the time frame that was happening. It was right as the Airsoft started showing up, not in Google, but in searches and showing up when you were looking up like video game guns, like I was doing, like the original Delta Force games. When I was searching Delta Force games and Airsoft was showing up, the timeline matched up perfectly. The Black Hawk Down may have been the very first movie to start to really influence the early Airsoft players back in the early 2000s.
I'm sorry. Go continue, Garrett.
I was gonna say I kind of had a similar thing where I discovered, because obviously into like the early Call of Duty games, and like everybody was trying to do a decent modern shooter at the time. Like this was before Call of Duty 4, mind you, because Call of Duty 4 was what, 2008?
Yeah, 2008 or
second year of college. Second year of college. I spent a lot of time on that. 2007.
Yeah.
Okay, 2007.
Okay, so for me, when I discovered Black Hawk Down and like was starting to get into Airsoft, and I started to get and understand real firearms, what are the different variants of the M16 and the M4 and stuff like that.
Of course, that was the first thing you researched, you nerd.
Shut up. So shortly after you get to the point where even as a kid, you watch the same movie like 50 million times before you move on to the next one and annoy the hell out of your parents. I did that with like Black Hawk Down in like 04, 05, somewhere around that time frame. And then I discovered the videos on, oh God, was that had to be an early YouTube.
It was YouTube. Yeah, YouTube started in 2007, I want to say.
2005.
2005. Wow.
Yeah, I was still in high school. I was still in high school when that came out.
So early YouTube, you have John Liu with Operation Irene, and seeing that, it's like, oh man, that would be so cool to do that. And like you see people walking around with 3-color desert, and M4s and, other guys with M81 and like shooting at AKs from buildings. And you've seen all these pyrotechnics go off. You're like, man, I want to do that. It's like being in a movie.
We're coming from zero. We're coming from stock zero. We have no influence other than that as our earliest. That's the thing. If you come from nothing and you're like, what is Airsoft about? And then you see people playing Opti-Reen, you're like, that's what it's about. I'm doing that. And then you're blind. You get blinders to almost everything else for a little while because you're so zoned in on that. Kyle, do you remember, for those of you, many of you wouldn't know, there was an old Airsoft store called the War Store up in Rochester. Buffalo.
Right?
Yeah, and that was the closest Airsoft store to us back when I first really got into this.
That was the only option. Probably the only options in the entire state to go to.
They would have this again. YouTube really wasn't prevalent. I mean, it was there, it was a thing, but it wasn't what it is now. They would have a TV in the back of the Airsoft store, constantly having those Opti-Reen videos.
You just play the videos on a loop
DVDs.
And
then they'd stock all the gear right next to it, so you could just grab it.
You would just be like, "Oh, that's what they're wearing. Oh, look, there it is." So it really, I think we should move on from Black Hawk Down because we've established that really was the thing.
Yeah, that was an example of like a massive influence. But then, I mean, obviously, we had one that I think influenced a lot of us, and myself in particular. Fucking Call of Duty, man. Like Call of Duty. I mean, when Call of Duty 4 came out, I think that was a ton of people's influence doing Airsoft. For me, though, it was a little different. It was the Tom Clancy games.
Okay.
Yeah, the Tom Clancy games like Rainbow Six and Ghost Recon.
Rainbow Six, and you actually could see your gun for once, and you were like, "Oh, that's cool."
Yeah, that was like where I kind of had my entry point was for video games, and then I was playing all these tactical shooter video games, and then that was when I heard about Airsoft. I'd say I first heard about Airsoft like 2005, 2006 when I had like Springers, and then I started actually like getting into it and playing in like 2007, 2008. But what I was playing at the time was tactical shooters, and I'm like, oh my god, I could do this in real life, and I can get all my coolest favorite video game guns in real life. And I think we've all witnessed at least one or two major cycles of like the hottest, latest video game release being the guns that people want in Airsoft and affecting what people want to play in Airsoft.
Perfect example. I have the perfect example for this. What?
No, you
okay.
You beat me to it. You're fine.
All right. Modern Warfare 2, when they put in the Bushmaster ACR, like 2 months after that game came out, A&K had a clone that was like a month away from being released.
So I'm gonna take a step back, and we're actually gonna bring this back even further than that. Now, Tokyo Marui is famous for getting licenses for shit.
The Resident Evil.
The Resident Evil Collector's Edition. For those of you that don't know, there are three, 2 or 3.
3, yeah.
Yeah. Well, so it was Barry's revolver, his 357.
Yeah. Then there's the Leon Kennedy SIG from Resident Evil 6.
Well, no. Even before that, the Leon Kennedy, the Resident Evil 2 Desert Eagle, and the 10-inch long slide version of it.
Yep.
Yeah. That gun goes for like $1,500 on eBay whenever they pop up. They are incredibly rare.
Ridiculous.
The chrome, with the stars logo and everything. That might have been the very first direct movie or video game influence in Airsoft, which them straight up copying from the game and getting the licenses with the stars logo.
Yeah, they actually have like the Resident Evil license. Tokyo Marui still makes new editions of Resident Evil Collector's Edition Airsoft handguns.
Yeah,
which is awesome, by the way.
The stars Beretta, the Kendo Custom is awesome. It is awesome. It is a slick looking Beretta.
And WE just straight ripped it off.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yes, WE, of course.
Yeah. But so that might have been one of the very first, was just a direct video game to reference. But even before that, with Resident Evil 2, the VP90 and the stock,
the VP70,
the VP70 and the stock, they didn't have the license for that.
Koba.
They did not have the license for that. So what ended up happening was that gun was released for a while, and I was like, oh, I'm totally gonna get Leon's gun and do the burst and everything else. And then I think they didn't have the license for the stock. For some reason, it was the weird thing where like they had part of it, but they didn't.
So I don't think Tokyo Marui ever made that. I think Tanio Koba made that, but
Either,
it was not an H&K licensed product.
Either TK did it, or I think maybe Maruzin, one of the two. I think
somebody did an extra. Yeah, somebody did just the pistol, and someone did the pistol with the 3-round burst stock on there. Yeah. But that wasn't like a license thing at all. But you recognized it. I recognized that immediately. I'm like, that's Leon's pistol. Oh, it's even got the burst thing. I thought that was the hottest thing at the time. And that was. Yeah. I mean, Resident Evil 2 came out when I was a kid. I mean, that was a long time ago. But that might have been the first. And then with Modern Warfare, so the ACR for sure, because nobody knew about that gun. I don't think anybody
as well.
Well,
Vector, that was another big one.
The real gun community was a lot of people were paying attention to the Magpul Masada and the ACR, but it really wasn't until Modern Warfare 2 where people really started to, at least as far as like people cloning and like A&K Chinese companies were trying to get ahead of the big three. They were trying to. This was the start of the Clone Wars. As we old airsofters know it.
The Clone Wars.
The Clone Wars. Where you have like JG Echo 1 and A&K coming out with 1/3 half-priced versions of guns that were normally done by ICS, Classic Army, and Tokyo Marui.
Yeah. Real quick. I want to give a shout out to someone in the chat, Kaylee Diamond, aka Les Trooper. First of all, she said, first kit was also a Black Hawk Down themed kit with my Classic Army M4 and ProTech helmet. That is the way to do it.
Yep.
And then Rainbow Six Raven Shield is OP. Damn right. Or Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter, anyone?
So I got a point. I'm gonna bring a
Advanced
point on this one.
Warfighter.
Well, Advanced Warfighter is what made me get an M60. That's straight up why I bought an M60.
Mark 43?
Yeah. The mod. The one with just the handguard, no rails.
The E4,
which is the Mark 43. Yeah.
Hold on though.
Look,
no, the Mark 43 is slightly different.
No.
Moving on. Advanced Warfighter, the multiplayer where you had the 16 people versus like the 150 ultra hard bots. I used to do saw gunning in that constantly, and I would do like webbing in a ball cap, which has not changed since I started playing Airsoft.
No, it is not.
And I had the 60. I had this 60, and you got 5 or 6 box mags with it. And saw gunners in Advanced Warfighter were OP if done correctly. And so I would get these 16-man teams, and you'd always lose people. You'd always lose people during those games. Nobody made it through all that all the way. And I had a couple of such good games that specific gun stood out 100% in my mind, always. And when Star released their version of it,
are you a little salty there?
I actually said to myself, and I'm not kidding, this actually, my mom, I wish my mom would remember this. When I bought that gun, I said to myself, I really hope they actually have the charging handle move. And I remember actually like audibly across the house going, fuck, when I went to pull on the charging handle, it doesn't rack. I was just like, come on, you have one job. But yeah, no, like that, again, that is, I can pinpoint about, oh Christ. Actually, you know what, guys? In all seriousness, if I go through my Airsoft armory downstairs, I can pinpoint almost every game and movie I pulled it from. The EBR came from Modern Warfare 2. Go ahead, what do you got?
I've got a great one from the chat. This is S-Web. You guys are talking about boring movie and game guns. I turned a guitar case into an AEG thanks to Antonio Banderas.
I want you're going to get Facebook, whatever we use, post a picture of that. I want to see that. I really want to see that.
Put it on Reddit,
S-Web,
internet points.
Yeah, S-Web, if you feel like taking a picture of that, or if you have any pictures or video of it, put that on Imgur and put it on Reddit and tag user gun gamers, because I want to see that.
I really want to see that. That's amazing. But yeah, no, that's perfect. And that's perfect. Like that's somebody like Heat. Right? Everybody, Garrett's Heat loadout was just.
Oh my god, I love my Heat.
You could not watch a review of any FNC airsoft guns without hearing the word Heat.
Heat.
There was no way to avoid it.
And that was great too, because that was unique. That was somebody going, we're gonna take a really nice, very nice vest and sew mag pouches into it. If you look, I mean, they, I think CRW Airsoft or CWR Airsoft sells a copy of the Heat vest.
Yeah, they sell a copy. Somebody does an exact copy of it.
In my opinion, that's too clean, these were made in some dude's basements with a sewing machine while drinking whiskey and smoking a cigar and knowing they were going to rob a bank and probably get shot.
Oh, I was
So-
saying, you're
so
pretty much
Engage?
describing Engage.
That. Oh God! I mean, this is great. This is exactly what I was thinking when I brought this topic up in the group chat. Is like, if you think about it more and more and more and more, so much of this stuff influences everything, and you may not even think about it until you're like, "Why did I buy this?" Like, what?
Well, and what's interesting is, and I want to mention this because number one, I wanted to mention this like before we even started this. And number two, I want to mention this because someone keeps bringing it up in the chat, and it's a really good point. And I really want to talk about it. Is on top of normal entertainment media, things like video games and movies and TV shows, there's another type of media that has an incredible degree of influence, and that is social media and YouTube.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I want to give the shout out if possible to the person who keeps bringing it up in the chat. Orange Justice Kid at Gunnies, and then I think someone else brought it up, but yeah, no, that's a very real thing. Is that social media and YouTube has a massive degree of influence of what people buy. I mean, I hear all the time people say, "Oh, I bought this gun after you did this review," or "I didn't buy this gun after you did this review," and that is a real thing. I mean, how many of us, raise your hand honestly, have gone online and like looked for reviews of things you were interested in, or maybe got interested in things after you saw reviews of them?
I'll be straight honest.
Things you review them because people don't review shit.
Well, I'll be straight honest. When half the time I search a bag, Kyle comes up. Like our own review. I'm serious. Our own reviews. I go to a handful. I didn't think about it. When you first mentioned that, I was like, "What the hell are you talking about?" I realized like Grand Thumb. I like. I know this is a personal opinion, but like Grand Thumb, I love his reviews. I think he really gets into it on a lot of stuff.
I watch all of his stuff, to be honest, because he's a lot more in tap with what's coming new, and even just like seeing a picture on like his Instagram or something like that. Even if it doesn't necessarily sell me on the product to like, hey, I should just go buy this, it kind of gets me in the, that's kind of a neat idea. I wonder how I could do that, or I wonder how I could do that a little differently.
Which I think is almost the point of his channel too. That's the other thing about these YouTube channels is they're not just, some of the guys are selling product. We know that. They get a box, they do an unboxing video. They don't even shoot. I can't tell you how many times I was trying to look up the alpha version of GHK's, GHK and Simoon Airsoft have an alpha AK, which has all the Zenico.
Yeah.
It's awesome. It shoots like any GHK, but I kind of wanted to see what it looked like in action, with the grip and how they set it up. I can't find a damn video on YouTube of anybody actually shooting that gun. Somebody unboxed it. Somebody had still pictures of it in a moving YouTube video. Nobody actually shot the damn gun.
Joe is so salty, and it's very entertaining.
So mad. But it's true. You get a handful of YouTube videos that are just like, here's a product. Then you get guys like us, and I'm gonna toot our own horn here. I think we're pretty good at it when we do it. Whatever. I'll toot your horn. And guys like Grand Thumb and certain other people that we do watch, who when they really break down the gear, they might sell it to you simply because they're like, hey, check out this thing I got and here's how I like it. And if they match up with what you're doing, you're going to be like, yeah, can I find something like that or exactly that? And next thing you know, you're buying something new.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And Guardian Wolf Echo said, can't forget Navi Boy and the sniper epidemic.
I actually, I've got a story about that. One of my buddies, he's stationed over in Germany right now, and he does like to play Airsoft during his off time. And he was saying that like, because of Navarich's influence in Europe, he can't find anyone else on the fucking field that runs like a assault rifle. You'll have tree lines with like these guys with sniper rifles lined up as if they were, I don't know, like a fucking 1775 musket platoon, instead of people running across the field with ARs.
At the same time, it also makes it really difficult for when people ask, what should I get for my first gun? And we tell them an M4. And then they go and see Navarich or Brain Exploder videos about them doing DMRs or sniper rifles.
Kyle has opinions, I can tell.
Well, yeah, that's the problem. Is these videos a lot of times, and the same with like paid reviews, because there's so many paid reviews out there, is they trump up these guns like they're the best. They splice together all this awesome ass footage like it is the best fucking shit, and you're always going to do that awesome. If only you had that extra range and that bolt action, or this particular gun with this particular feature. It's all bullshit, and people don't realize that. And it makes it very frustrating.
Kyle, you're gonna hurt your ankles. Calm down. You're gonna be okay. But Kyle's 100% right. And the video that Eric and Kyle just put up nails it. But it's absolutely true. Again, you get this, and this actually I can tie it into what we're talking about right now. You get influenced by movies and video games and media of all sorts. It's called media. You get influenced by it. And for example, I held a SCAR, G&G SCAR at my local Airsoft Star on Long Island at the time, because I don't remember, I think it was Modern Warfare or something. Modern Warfare 2 when the SCAR H was out, right?
Yep.
And I was like, SCAR H, Mark 17, must have. And I went in and I held one, and I held it in my hands and went, this sucks. And I'm so glad I actually went in and held one at the store as opposed to, going and just buying it online and getting
Being
it.
like me, getting immediately out of basic, and your first AHE is a fucking VFC SCAR heavy.
Yeah, but it's true. It's one of those things too.
Sometimes other people in the Army make worse decisions. At least you didn't get a Camaro at 28% APR.
Dude, you're right.
Press
I'm not
F,
gonna go into
press F. But yeah, no, it'll be one of those things where like you got to take all this stuff with a grain of salt. You're seeing people that are really trying to sell you something on media, or in a video game, for example. Eric can attest to this. Eric's the only person that I know who can swing a PKM like an assault rifle. Everybody else, it's a big fucking 20-pound steel, gun. I can't swing a PKM like in a video game. There is legitimate fatigue from just shouldering any of these guns. So you're like, I want to get a machine gun as my first airsoft gun.
No, that's what we should do. We should fuck up, and we should create a super video of Eric just wielding the PKM like a boss, and see how many people we can convince to fucking buy one.
Oh my god!
If Alphonse has been any influence on people to pick up LMGs, Eric would definitely be able to set. No,
you know what though? Here's the thing, I want to transition actually, because we were just talking about the sniper videos and how there's so many sniper channels out there. Someone in the chat just made the point, was asking, Speed Demon, what do you think about the amount of sniper channels? It's oversaturated. There are so many sniper channels on YouTube, to the point where some people who like occasionally did sniper videos have kind of peeled back from them. Like Brain Exploder doesn't upload much sniper gameplay anymore because there's so much of it now.
And most airsoft sniping is laying prone and waiting and getting rained on and bit by bugs, and then seeing a guy go by and you were on your phone, so you weren't paying attention, so you couldn't take the shot. Sniping in airsoft is fucking boring, folks.
Sounds like a
hold on. I'm sorry. Someone else in the chat made a really good post. Ryan says, 1, don't listen to any sponsored reviews, and 2, hold it before you buy it. Yeah. Hold it before you buy it is critical, and take every review, sponsored or not. Like even like our reviews, like anything that we talk about, anything that we say, take everything with a grain of salt, because on the internet, it's such a time capsule of the moment in time that the review is being filmed. There is always going to be a weakness with any media that you're watching, of especially, recorded media or airsoft media, of something it's that moment in time.
Even Magpul training videos, professionally sold training videos. After 2 or 3 years, they're like, don't buy this anymore. They went on sale for like $5 as an entertainment video to watch the outtakes of Chris Costa and Travis Haley fucking around. Like they flat out said these videos are out of date. We've updated all of our training procedures. If you buy this video, you're getting old shit that's not relevant anymore. And that Eric's 100% right. It's a snapshot. Like our channel is going to be defunct in 20 minutes. We're not even going to be able to post anymore.
Go from 15,000 plus subscribers to nothing and be like, well, that was fun.
No, my dad doesn't log in.
Let's go to the bar.
My dad doesn't log in anymore. We'll always have one subscriber because my dad won't be able to figure out how to unsubscribe. We'll be fine. Love you, Dad.
Something that I will say too, that like oftentimes you don't necessarily know how something works when you see it in a video game, or you see it one way, and not saying that everything is like rose-colored glasses every time you're looking at it, but sometimes it's just kind of mess around or like I've done a couple of builds myself. This is kind of what I was leading into, that video games have like made me want to go, okay, I want to see if I can replicate this in real life to see what it's like. The hammer I actually got from Black Ops 2. They put
the hammer in Black Ops 2?
It was, yes.
Really?
It was a light machine gun. And
news to me. I didn't know that.
I kicked so much ass with that gun when I played.
And now there's drum mags available. Rebuild it so we can slap that 3-round drum mag on it. Turn it into an
I should.
IR.
But after handling it and using it for oh man, I probably had that gun for 3-4 years maybe. I used it in 2 to 3 solid games. I used it at a Lion Claws event. I used it at a Hunters Creek event, and I used it like at a couple of indoor places.
Didn't you let me borrow that for Red Storm East?
No, I had it for Red Storm East.
What did you let me borrow?
The MSK.
Oh, right.
And then I took
another Modern Warfare gun.
Yeah. honestly, my love of the ACR comes from Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3.
Hold on. When are we going to do the XM8 kits? Because Metal Gear Solid 4, my dude.
Yes.
The fish.
Where's my fish? I have my fishing rod somewhere.
I'm flipping out. Yes, we're doing the XM8 kit.
XM8 and UCP Delta camo.
Oh, God. Why don't we just get an aquarium going and throw in the G3 and the FX1000?
Hey, Joe, you might have thrown me under the bus a little bit.
What'd I do?
I'm not going to give away this person's details, but K-Swag says, literally tuned in as Joe was saying how shitty sniping is. Glad I agreed to this.
Whoops.
No, Eric, you and
I don't want to say that. He's not wrong.
Eric, you and I are definitely doing XM8 kits.
Who the fuck even sells an XM8 anymore?
SRC motherfucker.
SRC still does it.
XM8.
And they're apparently coming out with a new model.
Yeah, apparently.
But what color would you get it in?
Tan.
Tan? Is there another color?
Yeah, black and OD.
Hey, listen, it was gray and Bad Company 2, and that's all I remember about it.
Oh my God,
was
Bad Company 2. Oh, that glorious game.
Rest in peace.
Oh, that game.
I just always think Metal Gear Solid 4. I think Metal Gear Solid has influenced my gun taste.
Mark 23.
Yeah. Mark 23.
Mark 23s because
the
they played the original.
USP with a light from Metal Gear Solid 2.
The laser aiming module.
And then the 1911 from Metal Gear Solid 3 and Metal Gear Solid 4. Super hot with the silver and black contrast and the wood grips. And then you had the Knights Armament SR-16 as the M4. And my first Airsoft M4, it was an A&K M4S system. I painted the grip and the stock to be just like the M4 from Metal Gear Solid 4 because I was like, that is the fuck you.
Evike did a factory, well, not like a factory, but they did a custom AEG M4 that had the two-tone black tan of the M4S system from Modern Warfare 2.
Yep, they did. It was very hot.
Evike's also doing that for the Chris Vector. They're releasing a two-tone version of the Chris Vector as well.
Yeah, which is out from that. Let's not forget that fucking Airsoft GI did 4 separate Lone Survivor builds that you could buy for $750.
Oh yeah, Lone Survivor was a huge thing. Like, God, and it's so weird that like Lone Survivor is what everyone wanted to replicate the kits of, and it's like.
It's because it's a recon. It's a recce. Honestly, Lone Survivor, I think, brought to the table the recce gun again.
It did, and it made RRVs and DCU cool again, which everyone seemed to forget about for a while. And it was a good time for me because I snagged an Eagle RRV for cheap.
Yeah, there you go. Geez, what was something else? There's something else that just. Garrett remembers me building my Mark 18 a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Honestly, the biggest influence for me right now, more than anything else, is Insurgency and Insurgency Sandstorm.
Oh, God.
Now, he knows.
That's so good.
The reason why is because the Mark 18 is an Insurgency Sandstorm, but it's even with the anti-roll pins, they really nailed down the DD platform. Insurgency 1 had the workshop. And you'd have all these people coming out with all these custom guns, and some of these guys were professional animators who were just dicking around for
fun.
Probably
bring it back as well.
I really hope so because honestly, I owned an MP7 and a Mark 18 because of Insurgency and mods through that. The modding communities on some of these video games, these guys get better details than the people who make the games, because the people who make the games don't have 40 hours to work on one single piece of a receiver.
Hold on. I've got a really good question from Speed Demon.
Excited.
Speed Demon said, what would be your dream video game loadout? And I'm assuming he means like a loadout you use in video games that you want to bring to Airsoft. What would be your dream go?
Well,
okay.
Well, if I may start, we're gonna be going American Medic from Bad Company 2. I like to call him Steve because he looked like he ate burgers with his thick, full mustache.
Can you grow facial hair?
I can grow facial hair, and when I have a member of our group's girlfriend cover it in fucking mascara, it looks phenomenal.
There you go. It's part of the kit.
Oh yeah, it's great. But gonna do that. We're gonna be running the MG3. If anyone actually fucking made an MG3,
God, the
LCT make one. Ooh, LCT make an MG3, please. Fucking the 443, the Grotch as a handgun. Someone needs to make a 443, by the way.
That needs to have been done like 10 years ago. Garrett and I have been bitching about this forever.
They do.
Yeah.
The shitty non-black blowback version.
I think there is a blowback one.
There's non-blowback.
I'd have to look.
And then for my perks, I'm gonna need Magnum ammo. You
don't get perks. Shut up.
He said dream. He said dream.
Let
him have his dream.
I want 8mm M16.
All right. So Garrett, video game loadout, go.
Nobody should be surprised at this.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, God.
Nobody should be surprised at this, but I gotta go with the Titanfall 2 Spitfire LMG. I know somebody's working on something like that as a conversion kit, but it would be awesome to do like the full pilot getup with the jetpack and everything like that, and rocking a Spitfire LMG.
Yeah, and the first time you wall run, you're gonna look like Eric when your knees explode.
Garrett wishes he could look like me.
I wish I could look like Eric. I wish I had more muscle mass than brain power.
Wait, hold on.
It's not. I was gonna say that's not implying I have less of the form or less of the latter. So.
Anyway, no, that's legitimate though, and that brings us back to one of our first podcasts talking about video game like fantasy loadouts in Airsoft, and how if we're shooting a freaking BB, we should be able to get like really cool sci-fi guns. Kyle,
I thought of another one, but
you get one. You get one.
Okay, We'll circle around. All
right. Mine, I'm actually just going to go with something modern that I actually enjoyed, is doing a setup in the Ghost Recon Wildlands, creating like a dual-wield loadout with two different rifles, I would base them off of like calibers between the two and shit like that. And I like doing an insurgent thing, rocking an AK and an SVD while hunting the terrorists. So that way it was like, I'm using their own guns against them, and it's fucking awesome. However, dual-wielding airsoft guns sucks in reality. It's not a fun experience.
Again, video games setting an unrealistic expectation of what you can do on the field.
Fight unrealistic video game gun standards.
Nice. Eric. Actually, most of these guys, but Eric especially is intimately aware of my dream kit. My dream kit comes from a graphic novel called Black Powder Red Earth.
Which technically there is a Black Powder Red Earth game coming out, so
yeah,
I will allow this.
Well, no, we're talking about media. Movies, media, this is
the question legit. Was video games, but I'll allow this one on a technicality.
Okay, well, all right, if we want to get real technical, fucker, Arma, you can pretty much replicate the entire loadout in a mod in Arma, so there's the video game. Be my pick. All right.
So Black Powder Red Earth kit though, like what is that for people who don't know?
So there's two versions of it. One is the early 2000s version that was in the first series of the book, which was post the Iraqi invasion. It's basically, a lot of like these guys were sort of bleeding edge. So this is right as Keymod and MLOC was becoming even a thing. Well, hell, you know what? Screw it. I've got the poster up in my room. Let's just do that.
Oh, that was the one that Travis Haley did his D3 with.
Because the guy who helped him develop the D3 is the writer of Black Powder Red Earth. He's the one who developed their logo. So anyway, that's the early one. The later one is the one I'm working on right now, which is integrating with a very special kit that Eric and I and a few other guys are working on. But it's a very modernized. It's a very modernized gear. Those guys run with like Scarab carriers. They all have very custom rifles that were provided by the company, essentially. So some Saudi prince threw a ridiculous amount of money at these guys to protect his interests, and so they all bought the same kit. They run like Cry airframes, Scarab LT carriers, and all of their rifles are from BCM company, but with very, very specific attachments to them. We'll be doing a video on that shortly as soon as that particular thing that Eric knows that I'm talking about gets into another person's hands that we know. And then, I will actually probably wind up doing a personal video on just that kit alone because I put so much time and money and effort into it. And I kind of really want to show off.
By the way, I picked up your rifle components for that today.
Yay! I'm so excited to get this done because I dropped so much money into it.
Yeah, you did. But okay, so dream video game loadout. For me, I've had plenty of time to think about this, but I'm just gonna go with it. I want to do Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater with Tiger Stripe and the new PTS N23 converted to be a Patriot.
That would be cool.
That's solid. Are you going to use the Oasis, the little Mark IV, the suppressed pistol?
Oh, the Trank pistol?
Yeah.
The Ruger Trank pistol? Yeah, totally. No, I think KJW still makes that.
Except it's like 400 FPS, so we're going to have to
I can run it on duster gas.
I think it's supposed to be run on duster gas.
Yeah, I'll figure it out. But yeah, no, the Metal Gear Solid 3 kit, and I have to lose an eye, so I can't play with eye protection until I lose an eye.
Hey, just keep playing with me, and eventually you will lose that eye. Don't worry.
Oh yeah, no, you'll drag me right into it, you bastard.
You get a sweet eye patch after that. That might be the easiest kit out of all of these to do. That might be the easiest kit.
That one's pretty easy, but the real thing is I have to grow a sweet mullet, and my hair is too thin and shitty to do that. So
you can get a wig. No one's gonna judge you on that one.
You can get a weave.
A weave. I got him a weave, dude, so I can pretend to be Big Boss.
Yo, give me a Spec Ops The Line loadout and let me burn all the other players with fucking white phosphorus.
Oh, that got dark. Oh, that got really dark.
Do you feel like a hero yet?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I guarantee you, almost every single podcast we've done, we've brought up Spec Ops: The Line.
That's because it's good.
It is so great.
Not a big fan of the kits in that game, but then again, that's another game.
They were not very realistic.
Well, and they were focusing on the story. There were guns, there were gear, there were things, but they were to fill the niche of we need something to do. The whole thing was focused on the story. Meanwhile, certain games with less than great gameplay have fantastic looking graphics and guns because that's all they focused on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But oh well.
What do we got? Chat blowing up at all?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, do we have anything else we want to like finish out that topic with, and then we'll just like bring it to the chat?
Everybody agree Aliens loadout would be fucking dope?
Yep.
Yeah.
If you're going to a Desolation style event, a fucking Red Dead 2 loadout would be dope.
Oh yeah, an Omega Productions game. I actually am planning on doing some Western style LARPing at an Omega game at some point, so that'll be fun. Joe, clean your room, says Mem. Mem says to clean your room.
You could at least hide all the filthy parts out of frame. Like, my room is disgusting, but I'm not doing
Joe,
it.
you just
all the dirty parts are out of frame. All of my bottles and all of my shit is out of frame.
All the dirty parts are out of frame, so let me show that by putting them in frame.
Assholes. And besides, my desk is full of Airsoft gear, magic cards, and other assorted stuff. Like, it's my work desk.
And then you've got, like, the baby prison behind you.
It's the baby's space. It's his safe space. Okay, it's not the prison.
It's the baby's safe
space.
It's
the safe space.
Joe, the amount of stuff that's in that room that is hazardous to children 3 and below because of how small it is terrifying.
Yeah,
my M4, it's over here. It's at least 10 feet away from the baby.
No, man, no, that baby's gonna be walking around just like, oh yes, finally, delicious food.
Actually, no, we're not gonna tell that story. Anyway, I take care of my infant. Thank you. Yeah.
Sauce Boss said a Metro Spartan Ranger. That would be pretty dope.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah, Metro kits are cool.
Metro kits are really awesome.
Yeah.
Steven Sharp said Resident Evil loadout. Oh, now what kind of loadout though? Because I think like the UCBS Those guys had some kits, man.
No,
Yeah.
you need to go full
SAS style.
You need to go full Resident Evil 5 and inject so much synthol.
Are we? Seriously? This is what we're fucking doing right now. We're not going to talk about the re-release of Resident Evil 2 in a hunk loadout. Come on,
yeah,
really?
Resident Evil 2's re-release looks pretty dope. But you got to mention Chris Redfield's synthol arms at least.
You're the only one who could pull that off, you gigantic
yeah.
mongoloid.
I don't have enough oil to put in my arms.
Oh God.
All right, entertainment media. How does it affect Airsoft?
I mean,
I think we're hitting the wall here.
I think
we've pretty much gone over like every practical example and even circled around to like YouTube media and how that affects Airsoft.
I think the answer to how media affects Airsoft, the answer is yes.
Yeah. And it definitely goes in waves. And I'm curious, actually, now that we're really aware of it, let's see what the next big thing is. The next big wave of AAA games, and the next time a really big, let's call it now, the next time a really big war movie comes out, right? And we're like, oh shit, I guarantee someone's going to make that gun. I bet you we can predate it by about 2-3 months and we can call it out.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm telling you right now, like, I think one of the big things that's been changing that we haven't even really noticed is like game modes that are popular because of Airsoft. Like how many people want to do battle royale games now because of Fortnite?
It's true.
Yeah,
you're right. Yeah. People also want to do stuff like Trouble in Terrorist Town after that got big.
Yep.
Gmod. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Garrett and I sitting in the Taco Bell at AT with guns on the table across from us. Fucking around like that is like it's true. Like
oh
you,
man,
you
those
get
were good
silly.
times.
You get silly game modes and you get silly things, and you're like, oh yeah, we could totally apply. Situation.
Oh yeah. Nobody knows the context of this. So what Joe and I did is we'd sit down on this little 2-person table that you find at Taco Bell. We both stuck our pistols and a mag. Pistol was unloaded. What you had to do is on like a go signal, pick it up, load the pistol, and then shoot the guy straight across from you.
And it was fun. And there's a VR game on Steam now where it's essentially it's
so good.
There's like that's going the other direction where Garrett and I did something in Airsoft and then obviously it didn't influence it, but years later we see that pop up in video games where you're basically playing either Russian roulette or you've got an unloaded gun in front of you and you're trying to load it and shoot the other person across from you. Like joking around and kidding around like that, like you see so much of that stuff come from like the fun modes of video games. Come on, zombie modes. Actually, hey, I wonder if Black Ops and the zombie mode really influenced all these zombie Airsoft games you see now. Everybody does a zombie Airsoft game.
Probably it'd be World at War.
Well, I feel like, okay, hold on. I'm going to pull the chat on this one. In our area, zombie games are pretty much dead.
Yeah.
There was one big one at Penyan before it shut down?
Yeah, and I think there was one zombie game. Yeah,
I would say it peaked right after it started coming out as a feature on Call of Duty. When it quickly rose up, and that year or two relating to that is when it was at its high point, and then it just gently trickled down until now. No one even hosts the game because nobody wants to do it.
If you watch,
we've got Off Tactical R saying in Maryland they are not dead. Kaylee Diamond says Code Red still does them in October.
Yeah, I think
Loki Trout. So he says I've not
thing.
seen a zombie game in the NYNJPA area in years.
Yeah, but that's a big one though. Zombie games I think really came around with the side mode for Call of Duty. Everybody wanted
and The Walking Dead. Mem just pointed out that The Walking Dead he thinks was a bigger influence. And I absolutely agree. I think The Walking Dead made zombies more popular than they ever had been or have been since.
Yeah,
and actually, if you watch the newest Q&A video from Forgotten Weapons, someone was asking him what the theme of SHOT Show was, and he said that like the theme for this year was really short guns and pistol caliber stuff. But like, and he had been to like a SHOT Show like 4 or 5 years ago, and he said the theme for that was zombie stuff. Everybody had like lime green, like toxic sludge looking guns and knives. And stuff
the EOTech
like that.
knockoffs, the EOTech knockoffs with the biohazard reticule.
Yeah, there's those too.
I mean, come on.
So Thomas Hoffman brought up a really good question. It's how much has Airsoft influenced the media?
I was actually about to read that one, so thank you for being on top of that.
Yeah.
Like,
do you think that Airsoft has influenced any media somehow. Now, I'm not going to go off and say that Airsoft in particular has influenced any media majorly, but I do think that the increased popularity of, tactical stuff in American culture, which, Airsoft is part of that and has ridden that wave. But I think that the increased tactical, popularity in American culture has changed a lot of stuff. John Wick.
Yeah.
John Wick, Atomic Blonde.
Actually, what's that?
Movies.
At SHOT Show, somebody had one of the guns they used in John Wick.
Like the actual gun.
It was an airsoft. It was an airsoft gun. I think that they used it in the movie.
Neat.
Are you talking about the Punisher gun that they had at Red Wolf?
Oh, it was the Punisher. Never mind.
Yeah,
right.
So I'm gonna be a huge weeb right now. So there are a bunch of anime that actually use airsoft in a lot of their episodes. It's a form of media. I'm gonna be honest. Furikuri had an entire episode about them playing airsoft out in the field.
I can't pronounce it, but I actually have it sitting on my shelf. There's actually multiple series that are around airsoft.
It's Japanese culture, right? Airsoft in Japan is even more. Airsoft in Japan is almost accepted 100% without question, as opposed to where it does spike some negative media here every once in a while when somebody does something stupid. But like it is 100% Japanese media. Has a bunch. Airsoft is a thing in Japanese culture, so it's just a thing in Japanese media. I don't know. I'm sure some of those funny Japanese game shows that we all love to watch, barely translated on YouTube, have airsoft things involved with them, just because it's there. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, and as a ton of people are pointing out in the chat too, like airsoft is used as a prop, and airsoft gear is used as props in all kinds of media.
And we laugh and point it out every fucking time we see it.
Well, not every time, but sometimes you'll see the fill valve on the bottom of a gas mag.
Sometimes you'll see the inner barrel when they do close up.
Yeah, or you'll see the high cap winding wheel, and you're like, really? You're putting on a box of mid caps, guys?
Oh, God.
Nary a truer statement ever be told.
Well, I mean, honestly, you want to go that route, RIT, so that's where I went to school. It was a big film school, aside from being engineering and sciences. And people knew I had an airsoft collection. I would have kids constantly ask me to borrow my airsoft guns for their shoots. They would get permission from the school, or they'd go off campus and use somebody's apartment or something like that to shoot. And I would get my airsoft guns borrowed all the time to do a quick little 5-minute film or something like that, because they were cheap, easily available, and they looked real. So it worked out for them. So, I mean, if you look in a lot of media, I bet you if you look really hard, you'll see airsoft guns all over the place in real movies and that kind of thing, just because you're going to spend a bunch of money, or if you're filming in California, $5 for an airsoft Springer off of eBay. Looks pretty good for a budget, right?
Even if you're having
a blank fire, when you have blank fire stuff, you have to have professionals there for all the safety considerations. Renting the guns out is not cheap. Having all the ammunition is not cheap. I think I was watching behind the scenes for Tropic Thunder, and every time they were shooting a scene that had blank fire in it, the guy was like, "Up there goes $10,000."
No, thank you.
You were saying something, Kyle.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, even if you're on Netflix and you watch some of the cheap budget films or some of the foreign films that involve guns, they're almost always airsoft. You can see them everywhere, all the way up through almost the mid tier in terms of what people spend, because blank fire is very, very fucking expensive.
Yeah, I mean GTA actually in one of their loading screens, they accidentally gave a guy an M4, and it had a motor grip and a wind wheel for a high cap mag on the M4 that he was holding.
Are we all gonna talk about the end of Modern Warfare 2 for a second? How he had the fucking airsoft AK magazines in his pouch when Soap is lying down on the ground and you look down to throw the knife. You can see the bottom of the you can see their airsoft magazines tucked into his pouch, because the modelers just referenced an airsoft model, but they copied the top. He doesn't have rounds.
God, I'm gonna have to look at that again.
Oh, I'm serious.
I missed that.
If you go on YouTube and just watch the ending of Modern Warfare 2, when you look down to throw the knife, you could see the top of the magazine pouches, and they're all airsoft mags. 100%. I caught that the very first time I played the game. During this very intense scene, I'm like, oh man, I gotta throw the. Wait, Those are fucking mid caps. Like you can see them. It ruined it for me. It completely ruined it for me.
Well, I was gonna say, so Mem actually had he said kind of a generalization maybe, but he said anything made for less than $1 million will probably be full props or airsoft. And actually, that a good point here is like airsoft guns have made it a lot easier for people to make action movies that don't look like dog shit.
Yeah,
well,
This is true.
Look at YouTube. Look at all the people who can make short action movies on YouTube for no dollars if they just had a couple airsoft guns.
You saw what I'm talking about?
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Mike Capucci, our favorite memester, says Modern Warfare 2 was actually just an airsoft game the whole time.
You're right.
You're right. You're 100% right because the ending of that game was fucking dog shit.
But Shepard wouldn't call his hits and refused to play by the rules, so he stabbed Soap.
There you go.
God, now I have to fire up Modern Warfare 2 again.
That's a horror. Oh no, you have to
guys.
play one of your favorite games of all time. Oh no.
I haven't fired up my Xbox 360 in like
I'm trying to
10 years.
I'm really trying to think where else I've seen like glaring errors like that where it's clearly an airsoft
Rainbow Six
gun.
Vegas 2, one of their promo posters had a high cap winding wheel on the bottom of the dude's MP5.
Solid.
Nice.
Perfect.
I remember watching Iron Man 3 when they're on the towards the end of the movie and Tony Stark is like shooting at a guy with a 226 and he pulls the mag out and he goes, "I'm out of ammo." And I look at it and I'm like, that mag has gas blowback feed lips on it.
Yeah,
that's not real.
But that's the thing. It's a lot easier and safer. I know I'm probably gonna trigger some people by saying this, but it is inherently safer to film with airsoft guns than real firearms. Because airsoft guns are literally incapable of killing you.
Okay, so argument put an eye out. If you use a gas gun and just tape down or just glue down, it's a movie, who cares, the magazine catch, you can put a gas mag in there and fire it indefinitely. Now you have a moving action that you would just have to edit a little bit of smoke and a muzzle flash if you want to. That's awesome.
And if you really want to get kinky, you can put a frame of like a shell ejecting, but no one gives a shit.
Or you could be really expensive and buy one of those Martian shell ejecting ones for like $800.
Yeah.
Oh, God,
or you could use a Super 9 because those ejected shells.
Oh boy.
All right. Let's see. A couple shout outs to other YouTubers on here. That was Node does a lot of filming with airsoft for a lot of his action productions. And Corridor Digital uses a ton of airsoft.
Spartan Greg Wong, his Jurassic World film was all airsoft. All airsoft. Like
Antagon launchers.
Yes, Antagon launchers. We got to touch Travis Haley's gun that they used in that film.
Yep. Ian was very excited about that for some reason.
Travis Haley.
Hold on. Navy SEALs 1989. Paul is asking about that. Does anyone know?
Okay,
I remember that.
We're getting to the point too where like if you're into retro kits like everybody in this entire group is, when you go see an old movie, one of our friends that Eric and I know who just did I think it was Hard as Hell or one of the shoots out actually Ian from the In-Range guys do their shoots. They just ran a Vietnam kit, partially because we've been playing so much Battlefield Vietnam, and Joe has a penchant.
You mean Rising Storm 2 Vietnam?
Rising Storm Vietnam. So yeah, excuse me. Rising Storm Vietnam.
That moment when I know the games you've been playing better than you do. Check your memory, old man.
So Kyle's older than me anyway. Fuck you. A ton of Vietnam. I mean, that's why I love Vietnam guns. They're one of my favorite era. But what was that? What was that movie? Oh God,
describe it.
John. All right. While Alzheimer's here tries to remember stuff.
The point is, if you start getting into retro kits and you start watching older movies like John Wayne movies or Clint Eastwood movies, and Clint Eastwood was the guy I was thinking of. It's the Hill movie. If you start getting into old retro kits, when you watch movies like Saving Private Ryan, and you're like, oh, I could get that. That spawns off. That's everything we've been talking about immediately hits again. Is you start referencing, I want to do a World War II kit. Well, you might sit down and watch some World War II movies and go, oh, that's what they used. I can replicate that. You start doing the Google searching thing. But that's what happens when you watch older movies and you're into retro kits, is you're like, I want to do that now because you're seeing it happen.
Yeah. So a lot of, I don't know, that's a lot of feelings come upon me when I see a cool kit in a movie and I'm like, I could use that at my next game.
Yeah. I'm still waiting for XM8 kits, man. We're doing it.
Yeah, we do need to do XM8 kits. All right. So I think we've beaten this particular subject to death. Does anyone else have any last thing they want to throw in on it?
Bad Company 2 Vietnam was the best Vietnam game ever made.
Rising Storm 2 is better, but it had the benefit of evolution.
You're right.
Wow, just roll over and die on that
there.
one.
Yeah.
Sorry, man.
Yeah.
Call of Duty died at Ghosts.
Yeah, no, I think that pretty much covers it.
Yeah,
That's really cool though, because we really started to break down how much I didn't realize half of the influence that happens both ways on a lot of this stuff.
Oh yeah, no, it's pretty nuts. Anyway, I'm just looking at
Red Dawn.
Just get a whole team looking like Arnold Schwarzenegger's squad from Predator.
We have the miniguns now. We can do that, folks.
We do.
Give me an MP5.
I'll rip my shirt off and cut my chest with a knife. It'll be great.
MP5s and MGL. Oh, baby.
Yeah.
Actually, can we do that? Can we? Hold on. Is everybody okay with that?
The guy running the MGL in that movie wears glasses. I'm already set.
Oh, I've got an MP5 for you.
I have an MP5. I can contribute.
So, Capucci asks, "How is the barrel scientific testing going?" We haven't.
Why you gotta be that guy? Why you gotta be that guy?
We haven't started yet. Okay. So actually, I'm going to use this little segment toward the end here because I think we're going to wrap it up pretty soon. But I'm going to use this little segment toward the end to address some future plans that the group has, and preemptively just mentally prepare myself for a lot of this. So we are going to be continuing our BB testing series. We are going to, when the weather gets nicer, redo the time to target test with that being the specific test. We are going to do a comparison of the quality and consistency of various types of BBs, but by we, I mean Garrett.
I will torture myself so that way you don't have to.
We suffer for your benefit.
Oh, those Crossman 12s are going to be so nice.
They're going to be the nicest of the bunch.
Yeah, I have to wait for some tools to arrive and some other contacts to get some things, but then you
need like 30 more kinds of BBs still. We're going to make that happen.
It's a work in progress.
I'm going to king of the hill that and just stand on the side and drink my beer watching you guys sweat over that because I ain't doing shit.
Yeah, so that is basically going to be measuring the consistency of diameter, consistency of polish, consistency of weight, and consistency of air bubble or lack thereof, along with several other things that we're going to be looking at from what by we I mean Garrett. That we're going to be looking at
taste test
from BBs. Taste test will not be part of it.
I'll do that one. I like BBs.
And then a little snack on the field.
Yeah, and then we've got a barrel test that we're planning. We're in the initial stages of that. We're going to take every inner barrel we can reasonably get our hands on, clean them thoroughly, not polish them, not do any additional lapping, but clean them thoroughly. And then we are going to install them all in the same HPA gun using the same hop-up unit and the same hop-up bucking. Probably have the hop-up turned all the way off. And we're just going to test what kind of groupings we get indoors at like 50 or 80 feet, whatever we can get without hop up, arc up if we need to. But it's purely going to be how does the consistency of the bore perform with keeping BBs with as little deviation as possible out to this range.
You are already frustrated just describing it.
Yeah, because it's bullshit.
I'm not frustrated. I'm just not ready.
Eric, I could name some things that you'd rather be doing than that. I can name a lot of things you'd rather be doing. Like playing airsoft, drinking,
Corey,
smoking a cigar, Corey, sleeping, seeing your friends and family,
Corey.
Corey. Yeah, no, and honestly, dude, like I'm gonna give you a little bit of an ego stroke here. Those are fucking awesome, and everybody should be excited about those because Eric really does pour his heart and soul into those Excel spreadsheets. But
then,
if you look under the Excel spreadsheet, Eric's tiny little soul is just shoved right in there.
It's not. I retain that because Redbeard still owns it. I can't give it away without him. But and I keep on saying it. I keep on promising it, but more Tactical Wizard is in the pipeline.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, boy.
And maybe AK mid-caps at some point?
I was just about to say, I thought Eric was alluding to the AK mid-cap.
I would rather not allude to the AK mid-cap test.
Treat AK mid-caps and AKs like real AKs. Fuck it, they work. Whatever, it's
Here's
fine.
the problem. Here's the problem with the AK mid-cap test, actually. The problem is so many mid-caps don't fit so many AKs. Like G&G's AKs, all their new AKs, all take proprietary mags. So I have to try to get my hands on an old G&G AK to see what works with that. But most people aren't going to care because no one buys G&G AKs because they're not steel, because G&G are cheap asses. There, I said it.
Whoa!
well, then just get your hands on LCT, SEMA, and fucking ENL, and you're good.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Those are the only three. But then there's like ICS and Classic Army and Lonex and all this other bullshit.
Yeah,
so I have to get my hands on all these other AKs that no one fucking buys just because I want to have the test be complete. But no one buys those AKs, so I don't know anybody who has those AKs because no one buys them.
Eric, just focus on being mad at the barrel test.
This is like the old school Mr. Wizard or Bill Nye the Science Guy tests. If you own an AK and you want to find out if a magazine works, go buy it. If it doesn't, chuck it as far as you can away. You've lost 50 cents. Don't worry about it. Just buy AK mags and see if they work. And
I have all the mags. That's the thing. I have all the mags.
Why?
I just need to. Well, you mean why? Because I fucking bought them. So
just need the guns, I guess, right?
We need the guns.
Yep.
It's not worth it.
But other than that, I do have another few Tactical Wizard videos written. I have one that I think has the potential to be like the best Tactical Wizard video that we've done.
Is that going to be blocked in like the United States countries on YouTube? Is this going to get region locked, or is it like this is going to be okay?
No, it'll be okay. It's just that like the subject of parody is pretty great. I'm not going to give it away, but it'll have a couple of guest appearances, and it's going to be really goddamn funny.
Oh, howdy.
But,
well, howdy.
Shit.
All right. And more Earl. We'll do more Earl videos. I think fucking Earl is fun. But yeah, so those are our plans. Other than that, events will be coming too soon.
Masato is gonna fucking rule, man.
Yeah, Battle at the Depot at the Seneca Army Depot from Masato is going to be a sick event. I'm really excited for that one. We've also got the Milsom West Session Collapse is in like 25 days, and I can't believe that. I'm somehow still not ready for it. But yeah, Session Collapse, I will be there as a civilian. We've got
Desolation. Revenant.
Desolation 2. Desolation 2 is coming in June, and Revenant is coming in April. That's 2 weeks after Battle for the Depot. After that, we've got the AMS event in New Jersey that I will actually be going to, and I think a few other guys
go to that one.
Going.
Yep,
I should go to that one. I didn't realize I got to go to that one. It's right in my backyard. I might as well.
Yeah, the AMS event will be in New Jersey is one that we will be going to, so that's going to be great.
What's that? Eastern something?
It's fucking
Eastern Front or something.
Eastern Front or something
then
like
Desert
that.
Fox events, we believe, is coming back to EMR in July. We'll be going to that. We'll be on Southern Syndicate because we want to give the underdogs a boost.
Hell yeah.
As much of a boost as we can give them because we're not very good, but we'll try.
I'm assuming somewhere in there are going to be some GZA games later on in the year once you guys are done. Like,
I am fully intending on going to GZA at least 2 or 3 times this year because I love that field, and I want to make it down to Ballahack. I got some friends down in Virginia who want to.
I want to go down to Ballahack, and There's going to be another Milsim West whenever they announce that.
Yep.
They were doing the same AO they did last time, right? In the
well, we don't know exactly what AO they're doing, but the next Milsim West on the East Coast, we will definitely be at. So
yeah. If you do see me, I will be going to GZA at least once per month, even if I have another game going on. Usually they do their big game at the beginning of every month. That's Ground Zero Airsoft in Connecticut. If you're around that area at all and haven't been out to that field, it is amazing.
Yeah, Ground Zero Airsoft is a great field.
It's fantastic.
Ground
I will
Zero,
be there.
I would say, is the Ballahack of the Northeast.
Yes,
easily, and that's not saying like we're serious about that. That's not we're throwing that around.
No.
Unless a game crosses with it, I will be there at every big game this year. I'm really going to do that. So if you're in the area and you want to stop by and you see me, please stop by and say hello. You also might run into some of the other crew because these guys like to come down and party with me and then go to GZA. So
so someone's asking, will any gun gamers be at Stag Ops Seasonal Violence? I have no idea when that is. When is that?
Where is that?
And then Lion Claw's Op Mjolnir. Is that the one that's like mid-March? Because I think I just got someone DM me on Instagram asking if I was going to Op Mjolnir from Lion Claws, and I don't know because isn't that St. Patrick's Day weekend?
I would not be able to look down a sight that day.
I
wouldn't even know. I would be holding my gun upside down.
Yeah, March 15th to 17th. Is that St. Patrick's Day? If it is, then there's. I'm definitely gonna have because my family always does stuff St. Patrick's Day weekend, and I think my brothers take a little priority sometimes.
Family over Airsoft, 17. You monster.
Yeah, it's March 17. Kyle, you run anything at your
Seneca Redirected. Are we going to the Seneca Redirect? I don't know, only because that depends. I have a wedding for one of my friends in Maine, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to be bailing on Seneca for that wedding. No offense.
I will not be able to go to that because I'm doing a reenactment event for First Cav.
Maybe, yes, it depends. I may be interested in going to it. We may be hosting some small-scale games locally at HCA at some point during the season as well.
And that's the other thing, is we have to turn down travel games, so we're supposed to do stuff locally, too.
Yeah, so...
Oh shit, we have a home field. Oh, damn.
Yeah. But yeah, and keep an eye out on the Gun Gamers social media. We'll announce any local games that we're going to, and I'm going to try to be better about posting up when we're going to games on the Gun Gamers social media. I want to have it where people kind of know where we're going to be so that they can avoid those events like the plague because we're not good people.
I want to party with you.
No, you don't.
But if you are going to be going to, this is actually, I want to point this out. If you are going to the Masada WAP up at Seneca, I'm pretty sure almost the entirety of the Gun Gamers, with the exception of our most broken players, are doing full field events. We are going to be doing on the field the entire time. So if you've been on the fence about that, have we done a video about staying out overnight on a field in the suck?
No,
not really.
We will though. Let's put one together.
That's not a bad idea at this point. If you are on the fence about staying out and doing the full event, do it, because we're going to be out there. We're going to be essentially camping out, which is awesome, and then shooting people in the dark. So.
Hold on, we got a couple more. Thomas Hoffman asked about how about Broken Home in October? Maybe. Broken Home is a maybe in October.
Broken Home's in
October now.
Oh.
Yeah, they moved it to October.
Okay. Well, we're still waiting for Holy Grail to find out.
Yeah,
that's
the weekend of Revenant currently, so I'm going to be at Revenant. But
that's right.
September game. You're all coming down to see
Black Hawk Down. I will be there for the September game.
I will do that.
Pretty much a yearly thing at this point.
And then someone asked Bad Blood 2019. I actually am planning on skipping out on Bad Blood this year.
We do have some people going.
We've got some guys. We've got some guys going to Bad Blood, but I personally am actually going to skip it because I have so much going on this spring. My April, May, June is packed between Airsoft and personal life. My spring and early summer is insane.
Are you just going to leave a blow up doll at your desk? Or are you just going to just dress a blow up, dress a Judy and just leave it at your desk?
Yeah, no, but I'm going to skip Bad Blood. just purely because I need a weekend off. And I think I kind of ruined Bad Blood for myself doing the admin thing. Because I don't know. I did not have a lot. I didn't have that much fun at Bad Blood. I think a lot of that had to do with the fact I was like in an admin position. So I probably ruined it for myself, honestly.
You were in poor physical condition too at the time, so
yes, I also did.
Eric was a little under the weather that weekend, so it just didn't work out.
Yeah, no. So I'm gonna skip out on Bad Blood. I'm gonna take a break, and maybe next year I'll go back and just do the playing and messing around. But this year, because of just how packed my schedule is, I got a family I like seeing. I got a girlfriend who doesn't want me gone every weekend. I have a whiskey cabinet that's calling to me. So so I have like some stuff. Like I need a weekend off at some point. Your Bad Blood is going to be my weekend off.
You're forgetting all the metal concerts that may or may not be coming to.
Also, yeah, I have metal concerts to go to. I got Enterprise Earth and Lorna Shore first weekend in May.
Yeah, man,
that's gonna be dope.
You got to get there and you got to start breaking up the mosh pit. Just everyone's running away at speed.
If you're going to be down in New York City in early May, I'm going to the Perturbator show. Not that any of you have ever fucking heard of them, but that's okay.
I am hoping to do D-Day Conneaut, Ohio, which is a World War II reenactment event with actual landing craft.
Oh, Garrett is sweating thinking about it.
Tinatoris, will any of you come to IWA? Amy might go to IWA. Amy often goes to visit family in Germany at the time of IWA. So Amy might be going, but we don't know for sure yet. So it's up in the air.
She will, however, be going to, what's it?
Oregon Airsoft? Yeah, Oregon. It's SS Airsoft in Oregon. She's going this weekend.
Yeah. No, it's not SS Airsoft. It's Oregon Airsoft Arena. Get it right.
There you go. My bad.
SS Airsoft is Atlanta. Learn your geography, pleb.
Sorry, man. I'm still, proby, apparently.
All right. So, other than that, I think that's pretty much all the business. I think
a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I think we've hit a good length here for this episode. I think we don't need to drag this out any longer. So, yeah, that is another episode of the Gun Gamers Live podcast. We promise this every time we do these. We're gonna try to do more of these more often. 3 months later. So no guarantees, but
I think no. In all honesty, Eric, let's really start trying to nail these down. We'll talk about this later. But with the amount of games that, especially you being the front dude, but the amount of games we're all going to, we should be doing monthly recaps. We should 100% be doing monthly recaps. And the podcast is the
the thing is, we tried to shoot for these for like bi-weekly at one point, and I think that just made it untenable.
Once a month.
I think once a month. We should try like near the beginning of every month to do this. I think that's a good balance.
Rotate out the people except for you. Although if you can't be there,
I suck.
Well, we'll just like I said, blow up the Judy doll. We'll just leave it there next to the microphone. We'll all talk around it. It'll work out great. Yeah, but no, we should do more of these in general.
Hold on. Kendon says, always my favorite podcast, boys. I generally appreciate all of you. Kendon, we appreciate you. You're the shit. I like you. Thomas Hoffman says, do eat. So yeah, apparently the idea of monthly recaps and monthly podcasts is a good idea. All right. So we'll try for that. We'll try doing that. Yeah, I think it's a good way to do it. Anyway, let's do the outro here. So Ami House, Kyle.
I'm Kyle.
Joe.
I'm
Garrett.
You have one job. I'm Joe. Thank you for joining us this evening.
And I'm Ian. So praise Judy.
Praise Judy.
Praise Judy.
Praise
Thank you for joining us this evening.
Bye.